Hey guys, bringing you Beside the Still Waters message. This is Lexus of Breakthrough Prayer Ministry, and today is January the 4th. How is your walk with God? I will walk before the Lord in the land of the living. That is Psalm 116:9. So it's not that we ought to walk with God in the afterlife. We ought to walk with Him now in the land of the living. To walk takes effort, especially as we get older, right? So let's say you go to the Grand Canyon or you go to the Eiffel Tower, you go somewhere that requires some walking. You're going to need to be able to fulfill that walk. The only way to get there is walking, and walking take a lot of energy, right? It takes a lot of energy for us to, especially if we're walking up. When we're elevated, it takes a lot of energy away from us. And in our Christian life, it takes so much energy to walk with God. It is not easy. Something to attain that significantly as to walk with God. Oh, yeah, it requires a lot of work. It requires a lot of energy, a lot of dedication, a lot of motivation, tears. Because guess what? When you walking with God, as you go higher, things that was on each level as you go up going to start to fall off. And as it fall off, you're going to think you're losing. Only if you know you're gaining and you're winning. You're not truly losing. Then it goes down to say the Bible has many verses about walking. Ephesians 5:2 says, walk in love. How is our relationship with our brother and sisters? You have to walk in love. I heard so many people say, I hate such and such. I love God. We cannot, as Christians, we cannot even use the word hate. Let's keep it real. You cannot hate your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, and say you love God, because the Lord said we ought to love one another, and that is the greatest commandment. God said it. Don't Lexus, do I suppose to? God said it. Okay, trust me. A lot of those that I love, it's hard to love some people. Even in my family, it is hard to love some people. But you know what? No one's going to interrupt my walk with God. So if I got to love you, even love you from afar, I'm going to love you, because nothing is going to impede my walk with my Father. Do our interactions please God? The way you interact with somebody else, co-workers, your friends, it could be your boss at work, strangers, it could be other Christians. Is your interactions pleasing to God? Because at the end of the day, when you walk with God, how you treat and interact with others, guess what? It shows the example of the godly person you are, who you're representing. You hear a company may say, you represent me. Don't talk to the customers that way. You representing Wendy's. You're representing this company. That's how it is with God. If you sit there and you have your hand raised high and you say, I'm a Christian, well, guess what? Non-Christians are watching you. And if non-Christians see how you're acting, you think they're going to want to come and, well, that's why I ain't been to church yet. That's why I don't want to learn about God yet. That's a Christian acting like that? Yes. Your interactions with others has to be pleasing unto God as well. And Ephesians 5:2 says, Galatians 5:16 tells us, walk in the Spirit. Walk in the Spirit. You have to denounce your flesh 24/7. I hear some people say, God is still working on me. That means we are still walking in the flesh, right? Because God is still working on me as well. I am not always walking in the Spirit, although I try so hard to. And I'm telling you, tests will come against me after this and this and that. And those tests, it's like, okay, I know. You start to learn when it's a test. You start to learn. God want to see how you're going to react. How you're going to react to the person that curses you out. How you're going to react to the person that lies on you, that yells at you. How are you going to react? Do we allow that small, still voice to guide us, or do we take our own way? Because I know right before I go off, the Holy Spirit will say something, and it's like either I'm going to listen to him or I'm going to give me a moment and I'm going to do Alexis. But we can't, saints. We have to walk in spirit because we're representing God. And if we're representing him, our head has to always rise higher than those to our right and our left. We always have to keep the water above our shoulders. We cannot drown, guys. We have to walk in the Spirit no matter how hard it is. And it is hard. It is not easy, but it is rewarding. It is rewarding. and not just in the afterlife. Those of us who walk in the Spirit, those of us, what this says, those of us who walk with God, it is rewarding. It is rewarding to see what's invisible become visible. It is rewarding to see the hand of God orchestrate things in your life. It is amazing to see God put pieces together of your life that never even fitted. For God to reward you with something that was only a fantasy. I promise you that the reward is far more worth the effort and energy it's going to take you to walk with God. Then it goes down to say, Ephesians 5:15 says, "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." Circumspectly means carefully. So basically, he's telling us to walk, to tread carefully. So we are walking in a careful or thoughtless manner. You got to ask yourself, am I walking with the I don't care attitude? Am I walking with the it don't matter to me? Tomorrow, it is what it is. Or are you walking carefully, praying before every move, praying before every decision? Are you making sure that God is the front, the center, and the end of all your decisions and of your life? Because He has to be. God has to be the head of your household. God has to be. You can't be the head of your household, and then when trouble hits, there's not a darn thing you can do. You have to make God the head of your household. That means anybody that's in your house, they got to serve God the same exact way. My children are in line just like me and my husband is when it comes to God. There ain't nobody's falling off. We all got to be in the same line. So when something goes down, whether it hits me, my husband, or one of our children, we know, and they know to call on God. And God is in control of our house. You have to make sure, saints, you're lining it up properly. There's an order to everything, guys. It's an order in the workplace. You got what? You got the president, then you got the vice president, then you got the supervisor, then you got the crew leader, then you got the co-workers. It's always an order to everything. And it's always an order when it comes to you and God and everything. There's an order. So you can't sit here and go your own way at your own pace. It is an order that you must follow at all times. And not just you, but all those that's connected to you, especially in your household. As God reveals new truth to us, we must be willing to walk in that light. There are many people walking in darkness, and guess what? Those people do not know where they're going. You ever seen somebody that you went to school with and then you say, oh my God, they just don't look the same. They like they aged and just been through so much because so many people are walking in darkness. That's why you got to let your light shine. You got to have people, you got to have others a reason to say, why should I go to God? Let you be that example of why somebody should go to God. You be that example. Every time I think on my timeline, 2 different households got baptized for the new year, right before the new year. I'm telling you, you got to make your light shine. You got to have your light shining because God will shine your light brighter in your life for others to be able to see. That's why you have to walk carefully. We are walking either towards heaven or towards the place prepared for the devil and his angels. There's only 2 ways you can go. Why not go up, saints? Why not go up? We may have struggled to go up in this life. We may have struggled to get a name for ourselves. We may have struggled to benefit. We may have struggled to have something to show for, to live for. But you know what? When you walking with God, if you don't get your applause here on earth, you better believe you're going to get it in heaven. Even if you do get your applaud and your reward here on earth, you're still going to get that up in heaven. That's what us humans want, right? You want more and more and more. But guess what? That's the way to get more and more and more. That's the way to get it. So don't look for your claps here because you're going to have a whole army clapping for you once you win this race. We have only one life to live. Just one. We're not like a cat. We don't get 9 lives, guys. We got one life to live. So let us purpose to walk hand in hand with our God, because that's why you were created. I don't know where you think you came from. There is no Big Bang theory. I don't know where you think you came from, but you was created by God himself. You were created for a purpose. Now, whether you find it and you walk in it, that's on you, but you were created for a purpose. You were created for it. So, walk hand in hand with our God, the one who created us, because why? He has promised to lead us step by step. God don't go astray, you do. You astray from the Lord. He does not astray from you. You close the door on God. He never closes the door on you. It will not always be easy. There are mountains to climb, but it will be worth the effort. If we walk in the light, the light we walking in is him, because he is the light. We have fellowship with one another. And the blood of Jesus Christ, his son, cleanse us from all sin. There is no sin greater than the other. He cleansed us from all sin, and that is 1 John 1:7. So let's not point the fingers at each other. Instead of take the hand and grab and help one another. That's what we have to be here for. Who wants to make it to the top by themselves? There's no one else up there. So we have to learn to reach back down and pull somebody else up with us. Then you and that person going to get bored being at the top together. So you're going to reach down and pull somebody else up. And as the more it comes to the top, the more of a fellowship it shall be. So don't leave people behind because you're making it. You got to make sure you reach back down as well. Make sure you do your reading, which is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1 through 21. Go ahead and just read the whole chapter. Thanks for tuning in, saints. And I pray that God blesses you in a mighty, mighty way.